Have you ever wondered about the history of your house or other houses and buildings you pass each day? Here at the State Library, we are often asked questions about the histories of houses and significant buildings. A great place to start is the Library's Guide to Researching Buildings and Houses. This guide takes you through the many resources held by the State Library and also directs you to other relevant organisations. In this video, we'll use the research guide to help us explore the history of three different types of buildings: an architect-designed home, a prominent building in Melbourne CBD, and a terrace house in Fitzroy. When starting your research, it's helpful to gather some basic information, including the name of the architect or builder, the address of the building, including the closest intersecting streets, and to have an idea of when it was built. If the building is heritage listed, the Victorian Heritage Database can be a good starting point for your research. Don't worry if you can't find every bit of information for the building you're looking into. Let's take a closer look at our first building of interest, Featherston House. The State Library of Victoria is lucky enough to hold some large collections of manuscript materials and architectural drawings of prominent Victorian architects. One of our richest collections is that of architects Grounds, Romberg and Boyd. As you can see, this is a huge collection, 161 boxes worth of plans, correspondence, photos and other records. We can also find some background information on the architectural firm from the biographical note in the catalogue record. Among the treasures in this collection are some wonderful architectural plans of Boyd's famous Featherston House, designed by Boyd as a home for industrial designers Grant and Mary Featherston. These architectural plans are nicely supplemented by a number of digitised photographs of the house that can be found via our library catalogue. Featherston House is based around a central garden. The design of the house was a response to the theme of living in the open. The house was built around a garden and contains no individual separated rooms. Many of these photographs were taken by Mark Strizik. Strizik was the photographer for Boyd's book Living in Australia, and the State Library collection features many photographs he has taken of Boyd-designed houses. Let's now take a look at a very different type of building in the heart of the City of Melbourne building. From street level, it's certainly nothing spectacular, but if you stop for a moment and cast your eyes up, you may well feel transported to another time. We'll start by taking a look at a resource that is specific to inner city buildings, a set of fire insurance plans commonly referred to as Molstead plans, after the name of their publisher. These plans show detailed layouts of buildings in Melbourne CBD. From this 1910 map, we can see that A.D. Hart is listed as the owner of the building. We can also see the shops on the ground level, information about building materials, the location of the caretaker, and even the location of the goods lift. The State Library has a large collection of historical Victorian newspapers. Many of these have been digitised and are available via the Trove website. The heritage database we were looking at earlier told us that this building was once home to the City of Melbourne Building Society. Looking through newspaper articles found on Trove, we were able to chart the rise and fall of this society. We discovered they moved their headquarters to the building in 1889, but that by 1893 the Building Society had sadly gone into liquidation. A search of the State Library catalogue reveals a number of photographs and even some artworks depicting this grand building. Early photographs from the 1890s show some of the original tenants, including an estate agent, architect and jeweller. We can also see the streetscape from this time, including pedestrians, trams and horse-drawn carriages. Later photographs show the changing streetscape and new tenants occupying the building. By the late 1960s, the ground floor was dominated by Fairway Men's Clothing Store. Here we have also found a fun postcard by artist Lewis Brownlee and a more historical view in this painting by John Goodchild. Our final house of interest is a terrace house at 203 Gore Street in Fitzroy. Let's search the library catalogue to see what we can find. We know that the terrace house sits on the corner of Gore and Condell Streets. So let's conduct a search for Gore, Condell, Fitzroy. This search brings up a number of images from the Committee of Urban Action. This committee was concerned about the destruction of Victoria's built heritage and photographed an extraordinary number of streetscapes in the 1970s. The details of these images offer a rich record of urban life and form the basis of the heritage overlays still used in town planning today. The committee has captured a number of pictures of our Gore Street terrace from various aspects and show it in the context of surrounding buildings. We might be interested in seeing if we can find some historic maps of the area, so let's return to our catalogue search and filter our results to only show maps. Here we can see some maps from the Melbourne and Metropolitan Board of Works, or the MMBW. These maps were plans for Melbourne's sewerage system, but also contain details on the layout of houses. For our Gore Street terrace house, we are able to see the location of the bath, kitchen sink and veranda as they were in 1900. Another interesting avenue of research with houses is to look at the history of who resided there. This is where directories can come in handy. One of the best resources that allows you to identify occupants by address are the Sands and McDougall directories. Here we can see that in 1910, an Alex Blitz is listed as living at this address, and the directory also tells us his occupation, a detail that's not always listed. In this way, it's possible to go through the directories and trace out the occupancy of an address over a period of time. For our Gore Street terrace, the longest occupants were the Antrim family, members of which are listed as living at the address from at least 1935 to 1955. We hope these stories have inspired you to do some research of your own. What might old newspapers, photographs, directories and maps reveal about the building you'd like to research? And if you're not able to find anything specifically about your building of interest, be sure to refer back to our guide. Sometimes the information you want might not be available because not all houses are architect designed. Commercial firms and architects are not obliged to keep or donate their records, or the resources you are seeking may never have existed, may no longer exist, or may be held in a manner that makes them inaccessible, such as in a private collection. In such instances, our guide also recommends books on housing styles in Australia more generally, as well as resources at other institutions which may be of use. Best of luck with your search, and remember, we're here to help. Contact us via the Ask a Librarian service if you have any questions about researching houses or buildings.